makes it existential, foreboding, shocking. This is King Vendrick, the biggest name in the entire game, and this is what's left of him. Not only that, but this is the path you're on. This is the future you're heading towards. Now the fight itself isn't very interesting. The strength of him depends on the amount of giant souls you have, and Vendrick himself has a very limited and very standard moveset. But like with Gwyn, that's not the focus here. I really like that it's not a carbon copy from Gwyn, while building on some of the same core ideas. And this is where I'll concede one point. While I don't think the story and the lore of Dark Souls 2 matches that of the original in any way, I do think it's cool that it can stand by itself. And this is definitely the highlight of said story. I'm still not convinced From Software didn't hire the writers of Game of Thrones for Dark Souls 2, because this is a masterclass in subverting expectations. I mean, you have this boss arena. This is, in my opinion, one of the sickest looking boss arenas of any game they've ever done. And then you go in and it's a dragon, so you're hyped. But then it comes in. The masterclass in subverting expectations strikes. And you know what they did? It's genius. I would have never thought about it. They gave him no moves. I mean, seriously, this boss has like 4 moves. Just look at the comparison at the wiki pages between the Guardian Dragon and Calamy. And then the real cherry on top out of all this to really sell this subverting of expectations is the OST.
Oh, subverting expectations is tight. Well, I wouldn't say that it was about subverting expectations. It's more that how do I say this, forgot about it. Oh, right.
The writers of Game of Thrones were so good at foreshadowing, they foreshadowed the writing of Season 8 in Dark Souls 2. Oh, you thought we were done after that atrocity? Oh boy, get ready for round number 2. It's Dragon Boss with no moves, but now in big. So big in fact that you are limited in where you can attack him, because even if you immediately react and run at full speed, you won't make it out of his AoE range in time in certain spots. The only thing this fight is going for it is that it's for the first time a true dragon fight that really feels grand in scale. And that feeling is honestly what made me not completely hate it. It's worse than garbage mechanically, but actually fighting a huge dragon is cool. It's a dragon, right? Right? Don't take this from the function. Don't make it a giant, right? I guess the law is pretty cool too. Honestly, I think that the best part of the base game of Dark Souls 2 is the design of the giants. I absolutely love it. So when there was another giant fight, I got unreasonably excited, honestly. And the arena is fucking sick. I mean, it genuinely feels like there's a war going on, which there is. And here's where the lore snippet I mentioned with the last giant comes in. This is the last giant. The last giant is the giant lore. And that explains the violent reaction the last giant has when he sees you. Honestly, one of my favorite lore snippets ever. However, just because they're the same person doesn't mean the fight has to be practically the same. This is late game, you could have changed it up more. I mean, the wiki sums it up how interesting this fight is mechanically. It's a real shame, it's genuinely a real shame, it makes me sad. It could have been the best highlight of the base game, honestly. For Dark Souls 1 to get to the optional bosses, for one, you had to just go to the most obvious thing and one of the biggest halls in the entire fucking game. And for the other one, all you had to do is realize that there's just some things that you're never gonna be able to have. Meanwhile, in Dark Souls 2, to get to the most infamous optional boss, all you need to do is join the one correct covenant out of the 50 there are, track down an old man in a wheelchair, go to university, get a PhD in archaeology, track down the old man 2 more times because he goes missing every time you take your eye off him, dig down to the bottom of the earth 3 times, killing everything you come across, while juggling 3 babies with one hand, realize that what you actually needed to do is light 3 random fires in each of the pits you've dug out. So there's no way for me to do it from in here, huh? So you do all that again, but this time turn the light switch on. Then you gotta lift the curse that's been on you since the beginning of your life, dig down to the bottom of the earth one more time, and then you can have one shot at the Dark Lurker. Yeah, that seems reasonable. But it's all worth it because what you get at the end is not only a good mage boss, finally, but also, more importantly, a JoJo reference. I wasn't joking though when I said he was a good mage boss. He genuinely is a really good mage boss. He's got magic spears, magic orbs, he can fire his laser, and he can throw the sun at you.